Game 67, Wolves vs Fulham on the 9th of March 2024, titled Horror Scopes. Today's journey into London was very much the same as others, except today I filmed stuff with my iPhone. It started with my position on the platform at the far end, with all the others peering from the other end of the platform wondering why I was there, before they all stampeded towards my end as they realised they were stood in the wrong place. I posted it on Twitter X. So as I posted it, I thought I would film my journey into work, as I often talk about it here on my podcast, and thought it would show you what it's like. Got to Marylebone and filmed the scramble walking towards the ticket machines, and then walking down towards Baker Street Tube Station with the excavation mentioned in previous episodes, etc, etc. All the way to London Bridge Concourse and having a coffee, and then into the office. I thought it would show you what I've been describing, as you will have now walked through my journey to work with me. Anyway, I wasn't really prepared. It was an off-the-cuff decision to do it, and it produced noise which overpowered the audio and a jolted walking image. I thought it would be funny, and we all know what thought did. But as a summary of my life, this is exactly what my teachers predicted in my primary school. Great ideas, but carried out too hastily for them to work. A flash of inspiration followed up by a flash of effort to try and make it work. Job done. Showed the world and then cue. Well, that could have been done better comments. Now this brings me to my moment in my life thought for today's episode. Once within the studios, I set about watching the footage taken and was quickly disappointed with how it viewed. Once again, a reasonable idea killed in an instant by a slapdash approach, thinking this will be fine. And to date, let me tell you, I haven't revisited the idea, although I do have the equipment to make a very good video. This then led me back to a moment a few years back when my father gave me one of my old school reports from when I was 10. English, I got a C, with the remarks, capable but tends to rush things. Mathematics, I got a B. Likes to talk but understands the work. History, I got a B. Enjoys listening and partaking in class. And then so on and so forth until we get to the class teacher's comments and then the headmaster's comments. Now as I was reading through this, I realised they had seen in me what effectively I had manifested into years before I did. This was, as I must point out, 2 years after Pedo Pete had started to destroy me, so there could have been a case for trying to get people to like me. But years later, my mum used to read her horoscope, and every now and again the words in the newspaper fell into position about her life, suddenly making them true for her, and therefore believing in horoscopes. It was only when I was talking to smarter than me persons that they pointed out to this thicko that sometimes people live their lives to their horoscope. But looking at my school report, they got it right a long way ahead of my turning out as they predicted. I now wonder what they did after I left school and thought maybe as a sideline they were newspaper horoscope writers. My class teacher for the year's comments were a little more considered than the one-sentence subject replies. He, my teacher, was a grumpy old get. His words were along the lines of a good child in class, who wants to be the class clown at times, capable of producing good work but often slapdash when carrying out his work, needs to take his time more and needs to concentrate more. Fucking nailed me, didn't he? Those traits were there all those years ago. So disappointed with my rushed efforts and disappointed with proving my primary school teachers right, I am what I am. Slapdash and doing it too quick. No wonder my wife looks so disappointed in me. Ba-boom. Maybe I get too much adrenaline or cortisol when certain situations arrive. Maybe the excitement as a kid of just going into the limelight when secretly wanting to made me ultra competitive or hyperactive. I know once I had knocked back Pedo Pete and he started destroying me, I wanted to give him another chance, albeit only to stop the destruction. Anyway, all this from rushing an idea. I'm not given to overthinking, am I? Maybe. Sat down with my coffee in my hand doing the final bit of prep for Wolves vs Fulham, the overriding thought of a good idea poorly executed in my head, followed by 90 minutes where performance overtakes the mind's thought processes. Gary O'Neill's Wolves side win the game with an Aït-Nouri goal and a Kearney own goal before late on Iwobi pulls one back for Fulham. As a game it isn't mind-blowing, but it is entertainment, and sadly on recollection it moves into the memory banks as one no doubt I will have to look up about to remember, if that makes any sense at all. Consider report posted and goodbye said. I wander on the reverse journey to get home. At Marylebone Station I check with my wife and decide to head to Bicester North Station because the journey is 52 minutes rather than 82 minutes. And yes, it means she'll have to drive further to get me, but bless her, she is cool with that, so I agree. The train is bound for Birmingham ultimately, which means there are a few people surging towards it on its announcement on what platform we board on. I walk fast with a limp, hoping as always that people will not head to the furthest point away from the back of the train, and when I arrive at the front there are seats available for Mr. Sweaty Limpy. I do what everyone else does, start flicking through my phone for information on the afternoon sport, checking in with the local sides or literally watching the meltdown of Oxford United fans on Twitter. I smile inwardly at the way phones have changed our lives. On the way up it was used in my case as a cinematic tool, and on the way home it allows me to garner information, whether correct or incorrect, from social media. I sat in the quiet section and the skies outside are dimming. The end of the month will signify the clocks in Blighty going forward an hour, more daylight for us. The train speeds through and the brain fade that comes with 90 minutes commentary and feeling of tiredness means I'm looking at my phone more in a stare than watching, looking or learning. But that 52 minutes of isolation and phone gazing has made me switch off completely and I go quiet. I am in one word answer to questions in the car because mentally I'm in lockdown. What an absolute joy I am for my wife. I think I really only come back to life as we head for bed. Leave it. Remember, Slapdasher wants to do it quickly. Not to mention the moaning. All about the jobs I never do around the house, mind. I wonder what my wife's horror scope said about today. Game 68, Aston Villa versus Ajax on the 14th of March 2024, titled Treachery and Traffic Lights. Short journey this evening for the Europa League game between Aston Villa and Ajax, but not before a firefighting day at work of my own. So a little jaded, I arrived and got ready to set up ahead of this match in the Gary Briggs studio. I was in truth a little earlier than required, so I was ready earlier than needed. So once settled and tests done, I started looking through my phone at the hundreds of photos and videos I had now accumulated in my gallery. So I thought, clear out time. Indeed, I start off at a sprint, deleting those wobbly videos taken from last Saturday, then some screenshots before the sprint and deleting frenzy slowed to a snail's pace. At this point I start struggling with work photos. Pretty sure I've copied them over to my computer, but only 80% sure. Can I delete them? Better to be on the safe side, I think, so they stay for now. I pick off another couple to delete and more work ones with the same outcome. But then come the loved ones photos. Now this is where a mental hold is placed on my mind. When I describe it to you, some of you will laugh and some will possibly nod as they understand the dilemma. Treachery and treason, the family picture section. We are more snap happy than ever with our phones and the introduction of digital pictures. Once upon a time you bought a film with 24 or 36 exposures on them. We would methodically snap each exposure, go to, in my case, the pharmacy, and deposit the film for it to be sent away and turned into pictures. And the excitement of opening the envelope on its return with its 36 pictures or 24 of varied amateur attempts. Often with camera shake or under and overexposed shots, or maybe bodily parts missing, coupled with around 4 decent pictures and of course all the obligatory thumb or finger going across the photos. It was quite disheartening and expensive, especially for me when I went over to Europe to watch Grand Prix in the late 70s and early 80s, thinking I'd got these wonderful pictures only to realise my point and shoot camera from over 100 yards away had captured a blurred looking colourful ant-sized car. So, with the advent of digital cameras and the evolution of these smartphone cameras, we snap absolutely anything. Okay, I hear you say, but why treachery and treason? Well, Now on my phone are some family pictures, some okay, some not so good shots and some downright crap ones, plus the burst as they call it on my iPhone, where you hit the wrong button and get a burst of 10 pictures. And, I hear you say? Well, two things. Firstly, I never fucking look at them ever again, and secondly, I find it difficult to delete whether good, bad or indifferent or never looked at again pictures of my loved ones. It feels like I am extinguishing them from my memory. But my head sort of tells me if I delete their pictures, they will see me and go, "You deleted 4 pictures of me, what the fuck?" Absolutely fucking ridiculous, but it happens up there and doesn't delete down there. Am I right off the rails here? Am I ready to be sectioned in the family deleted photograph section? I never fucking look at them, but I have this allegiance ingrained in my head. So the clear out stuttered and stopped. I went to the deleted section to delete them forever and still did another check through and selected all and then deleted them. But still some awful family and pet photos remain. The other issue with this is the ones of me and my wife. Someone takes a picture of you, maybe 3 for good luck. The one she thinks she looks best in is the one where my bald spot is uncovered like Donny Trump in a wind. And the one where I look at least non-stalkerish is the one she hates of herself. That leaves us with the one to be desired for both of us, which is a family picture which I cannot get rid of for treachery and treason reason. I focus on remembering to save these pictures to this little black box external hard drive when millions of other photos and stuff I'll never revisit sits when I get home. Aston Villa versus surprise surprise Ajax, who got through against all my thoughts away at Bodo Glimt in the last round. It is a whooping for Ajax at Villa Park. Watkins header, Bailey neat finish, a thumper from Duran and a Diaby thunderbolt saw Unai Emery's Villa side home. Ajax exit, prematurely thought of by myself before Bodo Glimt away, was pretty much upon them now in the next round. As per normal, I packed up and left the studio clean for the next person. I jump into my car and start to drive home. As I approach a set of traffic lights, there is pandemonium and horns going and shouting. Oh dear, it's happened again. This happens regularly at this particular set of lights in Oxford, and it's really frustrating when it occurs. Now, I will try to describe it. When you arrive at the set of lights, it is a 4-way junction, so you personally can go left or right or straight on. Nothing mentally testing there for anyone. But, and this is normal once again, your lights adjacent to the front of your car, to the left and right, are what you look at. But if you're, say, in a sports car, if you're the first car at the lights, you cannot see the ones right by your bonnet. So the traffic meisters have given each direction a further set of lights which work at the same time as the ones by your bonnet for you to see and move away when green. Okay, that is normal. But the junction is quite wide or long, and every now and again someone is travelling towards the first set of lights where you would normally stop at red, as it goes from green to amber. Amber gambler, we call them, before seeing the red light as they're going over this wide or long junction and then stopping in the middle of the junction at the red light for the lights they've already gone over. Therefore, when the next set have gone green, all they see is some twat sat at the wrong light holding everyone up. They beep, the person in the car at the junction in the wrong place looks up and sees the red light and they think it can't be me they're beeping at. More beeping, more misunderstanding as they have a red light. By now another junction has entered the fray with more beeping, and now serious shouting is happening to the oblivious person who is sat in their mind correctly at a red light. It's funny but not funny, if you know what I mean. And this particular junction in Oxford seems to be the one it happens at most. And this is post 10 o'clock at night. Imagine this scenario happening during rush hour. We all get confused. I did with works pictures on my phone. Had or hadn't I saved them already? But whatever, my photos are still full of family photos I cannot delete for some unknown mental foibeling reason. How can I be so treacherous to do such a treasonable offence as delete them off my phone? Because one day I will want to look at them, won't I?